Thanks, Haley. Well, the Friends of the Cadillac Library are excited to bring the American Soldier Show to Northern Michigan.
And Doug Taurel wrote acts in this play, depicting 14 different soldiers from different time periods. It's a one-man dramatic production that reveals American soldiers' struggles at war and explores the bravery of our veterans and their families after returning home from war. Here today to discuss the show is Doug Taurel himself. Sir,
Welcome.
thank you so much and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
So first things first, I'd love to hear the inspiration behind this. What was the moment or what was the event that took place that inspired you to start putting these stories together?
Well, it started, I was in the World Trade Towers when they came down. And so I was living in New York, so just like the country was, I got really glued to what was going on in the Middle East. So I started reading stories as we got deeper into the wars about soldiers coming home and having a hard time either pay their bills or and suicide rate was just being talked about. And so I decided to kind of write something to give audiences a better understanding of the military experience and what service really means. Because we say that term, but service means a father gone from deployment for multiple deployments, or a mother or a family who loses their son or daughter in war. And so I wanted to give a true understanding. So when I first performed it, I worked on it for a while, but I finally got it up in 2014, and then I performed it for a small theater in 2015 for about like 8 people. And I thought it was going to be like a one-time thing. And since then, it's, from word of mouth, 45 cities in about 40 states.
Wow. And what was it like, creating this and you're kind of doing it on your own as well. So what was that process like over the years of bringing this really to life?
Lonely, because you're constantly whistling in the dark. You don't know if it's ever going to work. When you're writing something, because when you get a piece of material that someone else wrote, and if it's good, you're like, wow, it's good. And if it's bad, you can say, well, it's their fault. It's not your fault. But when you're writing it,
there's no one to blame but yourself.
No one to blame but yourself. You're the only one on stage and you're the only one writing it. So you just go with gut feelings, and then you start, you ask for help, people that you know and you trust, and they say that's really good, and I think that's very moving. And then you trust your gut as an artist. And at the end of the day, you basically just have to trust yourself and trust the process and trust the work out there kind of resonates. And I had a great acting teacher said that if you feel it and if it means something to you, then the audience will feel it and it will mean something to them. And that was always something that I would always center myself on when I was creating.
Wow.
What has the response you've received from these performances been like?
Oh, it's been amazing. It's been really moving. I've become friends with vets from every branch, every generation, every gender, from Green Berets to Purple Heart recipients, Gold Star, Blue Star families. And for the most part, I think what keeps the play going and why people want to hear it is there's a lot of pain out there. People who have served a lot, we were in these wars for over 20 years. People forget that. And people need something. For vets, they want a mouthpiece to share what they're going through that they can't seem to kind of put to words. So when they see the play, it's cathartic for them, and they're able to feel an expression, and they come up to me and they say thank you. I get many emails, many letters from vets and military families who say, please don't stop, please keep going. And that's how the play started, because when I first performed it for like 8 people, I really thought it was going to be a one-time gig. And this Gold Star sister, Gold Star family member, is a family member who's lost someone in combat. She came up to me, she was really emotional, and she said, I lost my brother in Afghanistan, and I hope you never stop. I hope you keep going. And so that's always been the response from vets, from big guys, burly guys, to really, to mothers and sisters, and even females who've served in combat. And so it's been really inspiring. And, after every show, I'll get a message, a letter, a conversation privately. We always have a Q&A afterwards, and they always tell me their stories. And
Wow.
It's been really, storytelling is very healing, and it mends. And people, we've been, as a human species, we've been using storytelling since the Greeks,
Yeah, I was just going to touch on that, how, for these families to come and experience the show and to really, be able to relate and kind of maybe even grieve through it too.
Yeah.
Like you said, that is a healing process, because that's an outlet they probably don't get in other places they're, suppressing it. So for you to kind of give them that outlet is incredible. And what do you think people can expect when they're coming to this show?
Well, I mean, they can expect a great play. I mean, at the end of the day, if the play wasn't good, no one would see it. A powerful play with humor. It's got darkness because it obviously talks about the realities of war, but it has humor. Play ends on an uplift. One of the things that the play really focuses on is the beauty of the military experience. There's 3 lessons. There's many lessons, but there's like 4 lessons there when I was creating the play and studying the letters from the Revolution through current day wars. Repetitive themes that kept coming up, and one was discipline, the second one was teamwork, and the last one was brotherhood.
Yes.
And so you can experience a play that is it's moving, it's powerful, funny, and that will mean something to you that'll stay with you.
So obviously this is impacting a lot of people and families, but what does it mean to you specifically to be able to bring the show to so many people?
That's a good question. It means that as an artist, you always want to be able to have a mission with your art. Even if you're doing a film or a TV job, you feel like you want to make sure that you're telling something. There's a mission to the work you're doing, the craft. So for me to be able to go on stage, I love theater. That's what I was trained on. I've been doing it for over 20 years. To continually be able to see in the footlights, see audience members and see vets, and knowing that my work is helping people and it's touching families is really inspiring, and it's really special because you don't always get that blessing as an artist, you don't always get a mission knowing that your work is actually touching people, and so it's, there's people, since 9/11, around 30,000 vets have taken their lives. So that's more. In the 20 years, we've lost 7,000 vets. To give you a comparison. So to know that I'm doing the play and then I get people to talk, and that's the main thing. I get a lot of families who will write me, or vets who will write me, and they'll say, "I'm still talking about your play. I haven't stopped talking about it." I wanted to tell you. I didn't want to tell you either in the Q&A, but can I write you and tell you my story? And that talking is really powerful because that's really what starts the helping and the mending. And so it's by hook or crook, it's a blessing that was been given to me.
Now, Doug, something we didn't inform you of before this is you're speaking with 2 theater kids as well. So we absolutely relate.
That's awesome.
And Doug, real quick, we got to wrap up. We only have a few more seconds. When is your performance happening, my friend?
It's Friday, Saturday at the Ellen Boss Performing Arts Center. Friday is at 7 p.m. Saturday is at 2 p.m. And if everybody just goes to www.theamericansoldiersoloshow.com, there's a link that says upcoming shows. You can just click that link and it'll take you right to, it'll say Cadillac, Michigan. But it's in McBain, Michigan. So yeah, the American Soldier Solo Show.
Perfect.
Doug, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you
really
so much.
appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.